Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get on your feet.
Watch me light the sky!
And he scores with an unbelievable one-handed tuck-in goal. And the Blues have tied the game on a highlight reel goal.
Watch me light the sky!
Shoots. Game winner. You can bring out the Zamboni.
I am set.
All right.
Yes.
All right, loungers, it is another lounge podcast. It is Doc Noyes and Sean Didge. Going to be a little shorter one this week because we'll get into all the details soon, but we are going to be live this Saturday in St. Louis. Going to be such a good time. But first, let's talk about October.
October. It was a good month. It was a good month for the Blues, especially with their 8-2-1 record, and especially with this last homestand to close out the month. And, of course, they have the Los Angeles Kings November 3rd. But they had a pretty good homestand to end October, going 3-0-1, getting a possible 7 out of 8 points. And a lot of people were concerned about the goaltending situation, especially after the Montreal game and the team falling apart. But they came home. And they had a great game against everybody, especially in New York. They had a bad start against New York, and this third period they seemed to be their normal selves. They tied the game up, and with this 3-on-3 overtime, like we saw in New York, and also with the Minnesota Wild, this 3-on-3 is the fans love it. It's a crapshoot. Either team could win, and I think that's what the league wanted with the 3-on-3, but. And it's very entertaining. Very entertaining as the Blues was able to steal 2 points in the game against the Wild and was able to grab a point against the Islanders. But this Western Conference and the Central Division more so is just very tight this year, wouldn't you say?
It is always tight, but early this season, it's somewhat of a surprise, I think, is that all these teams are this tight. And I will say, with all the injury bug that the Blues currently have, most people I don't think expected us to be where we are or be trucking along as well, and have those young guys and some of those veterans that like Scotty Gomez stepping up and leading this team and showing, even with the injuries, including Tarasenko being out the other night, we can still play excellent hockey and we can win games. And David Backes, as they talked about in the post-game interview, got the gorilla off his back, 2 goals, including the overtime game winner. This team, and it's making me feel very confident, hopefully, Sean, you as well, and all the Blues fans, is you get all the people flipping out over injuries, especially with even when Tarasenko's sitting out, but a lot of times in season past, we start getting those injuries and you see the team fall apart. I don't know what's changed, if something's being led different in the locker room or what, but they're playing they're playing an aggressive hockey and they're not getting down with the injuries. Steve Ott has stepped up. I mean, a lot of people like to bash him, but I'm sorry, Ott's looking amazing. A lot of the guys that need to step up, and even some of the young guys, are just playing the hockey they need to play. Scotty Gomez, every time I see his play, look at that contract. That is a steal of a contract for him and for us. And it's amazing. He's going to be one of those guys that will be solid with us all year. I don't think he'll see any time in the AHL.
Yeah, and people were saying for Scott Gomez, his career was over after he left New Jersey first. Because then he went to join Montreal and just had a terrible, terrible time. And everybody said, his career was over. And then he rejoined New Jersey at the end of last year, or the year before, if I'm incorrect. And he just kind of seemed to rejuvenate his career. And he's playing very good hockey with the Blues. And the Blues' fourth line, third line, has been on fire, and the fourth line has not given up an even strength goal all season. That's impressive. That just shows how much time the fourth line is put in the offensive zone, and they're doing a very good job of clearing the front of the net in the defensive zone as well.
And it's a lot of people were surprised with the moves last week with Gio to Martin Havlat and Zubris. But hey, I mean, they're veteran guys that, as the Post Dispatch article put, between the two of them, they're 70. Combine their ages, they're 71 years old. But hey, it's nice to have those backups if we need them. They're still reading some of the sports writers that were putting stuff out today. They're still hanging in there. They've been spending some time on the fourth line. If we need them, it's going to be a cheap, prorated pickup for a contract if we can't get through some of these injuries. And everybody was freaking out saying, well, we've got all these young guys. Why bring in two old-timers? That's why. Because they're veterans and because they have experience. Several of our players, between 3 and 4 guys, adding up the total number of games between them, don't add up to 100 games.
I totally agree. And you need that veteran leadership as well.
And like I said, a lot of people can bash on Ott, and they continue to, but he's playing one hell of a game. He needs to be. He's on the ice where he needs to be. He's leading the team in the locker room. He's giving the team the support that they expect out of him, and this team looks like it has no issues with the injuries, and that's how I want this whole season to continue with. Is we always freak out, or have in the past, when the Blues start getting a couple guys injured. And I mean, we've racked up a ton lately that, crap, we're going to start dropping games. I mean, yeah, the games have been close, even the Wild game, I mean, taking it to overtime. I'm happy with 1 point in the situation we're in. I'm really excited to be having 2 points in these games.
I agree. And with the tight Central Division, every point is so crucial. If you look at the top 5 teams in the Central Division, the top 5 teams, Dallas right now being number 1 with 18 points. Team number 5, Winnipeg Jets, 15 points. They're 3 points away from the division lead. If you throw in Chicago, who's number 6 right now, they're 12 points out. They're 6 points away from the Central. That's how tight-packed this Central Division is. And not also the Pacific Division as well. This Central Division is going to be so tight that there's going to be teams fighting for a wild card, because the top 3 make it, and from each division, and then you have 2 wild card spots, which are probably going to be the number 4 and 5 Central Division teams, from the way it looks now.
That's why every point, even early on in the season, is critical. When it's that tight of a race, as you get down late in the season, God, and Allen being one of the stars of the week for last week, announced today, and Elliott, the week before that. I was nervous with Allen early on in the season. He looked very shaky, but he's settled down. He's finally getting in the groove. And again, the difficult thing is who do you go with between the goalies? But when they're both hot like this, it's a tough decision. But it's the kind of problem I want to have over burning out one guy when the backup goalie can't save anything.
I agree. And Brian Elliott hasn't lost a game in regulation yet this season. He's only got 1 loss, and it was in overtime against the Islanders.
That's a great problem to have. I mean, and Allen has won his last 3. It's amazing to see this team clicking and the young guys and the veterans working so well together. Guys that again we've talked about a few times we didn't expect to see on this team out of camp, and now they're here and just running crazy.
Take away go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so go ahead.
Take away the game against Montreal. Allen had a great game. He had a fantastic game. Two goals were bad bounces. You can't stop those as a goaltender. He had a great game, and he just got beaten by a better Carey Price, who was the MVP last year. And Allen's been playing great. He's been playing great since that game, I think, as well. And if you look at it, if you look at more of the standings, The Blues have only played 3 games against their teams in the division, and they've won 2. They've won 2, and lost the other one. They're getting points, and it's important. It's important that they beat Winnipeg and Minnesota. Played Minnesota twice, losing to them in the second game of the season. They have Chicago on this Wednesday, and of course the Nashville Predators on Saturday. Not only these points are in the division are very crucial as well, but you also have LA Kings, who are very important points to get just in case near the end of the year, if God forbid the Blues are fighting for a wild card spot, which could be a possibility. They're going to need these points against the Western Conference teams as well.
And no team looks really that bad. I mean, other than Columbus and all their issues, but and otherwise,
Columbus,
I'm not going to complain.
Anaheim, Colorado, it's just been rough starts for them, and Calgary included. But in the Pacific Division, the team that's really surprised everybody, and it's definitely surprised me, is Arizona Coyotes. And they're riding their rookies right now, and they're doing a fantastic job. And Mike Smith is not a bad goaltender either.
No, and they've been back and forth down there. They've got a lot of seems to have some management, some coaching issues that they're still working out. Talk to some of the fans. I got friends that are out there, and they're not happy with how some of the things are. But I mean, just the whole Western Conference, it's going to be a barn burner till the very end. Looking at some of the stats around the league, you've got Parayko. He's at a +7. He's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's tied for 5th with 2 other guys for plus-minus at a +7. I mean, he's killing it. You've got
he leads all defensemen in points too.
Yeah,
that's insane as a rookie.
And those are the things that are just amazing to see. And again, somebody that wasn't sure if he'd be in Chicago or St. Louis once the season started, and he stepped up. The pressure that he's been put on, he's dealt with extremely well.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's far surpassed any of the Blues defensemen in terms of, being ready for the season and surprising everybody as well. Nobody expected him to be here. We all heard about his shot. He had a great training camp, but did anybody expect him to be as good as he was, or better than he was at training camp? No, and he's definitely surprised everybody, and he's getting the league's attention on that as well. And also, it's official right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs just beat the Dallas Stars 4-1.
Wow.
So Dallas is not getting any points tonight, and right now Chicago is losing 2-1 to the Kings. Hopefully that'll stay.
And both those teams are tough teams. But they had, I know the videos will be posted up later on NHL.com, and that they pretty much had a 5-on-5 brawl for there a little bit, and it looked like even both goalies were going to go with that one. So if you get online, you hear this later, get online, NHL.com should have all the videos for that.
Yeah, I was watching it live sitting here in my chair just before our podcast, and they were just jawing at one another from their creases, from their own zones, and then quick threw one of the Blackhawks sticks like right against the glass. He was pretty ticked off, but it was a pretty feisty game. And if you have NHL Network, I definitely recommend tuning in. And our boy Panger is there at the NHL Network studios as well, so you can get to listen to him. And why wouldn't you?
He's our local boy, even though he's 5'1.5" or something to that effect.
Indeed.
But I mean, we've got a lot to look forward to this month. Tomorrow night, Tarasenko is going to be back in the lineup, unless something last minute changes. The Blues announced today he was going to be back, unless something happens to change that. But right now, he's supposed to be back tomorrow. At least it's nothing serious.
I think he'll be back tomorrow. And there's a speculation as well that Hitchcock might have sat him. They had an altercation in the Tampa Bay game, a verbal altercation, and they were yelling at one another. And Tarasenko seemed to be playing better. I don't know if that's true or not. But
with They wouldn't list him as day-to-day injured though, because I think, and I'm not 100%, I believe there's even some NHL rules along those lines where if you're sitting them for something other than injury, that has to be disclosed. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I think that is correct. Tomorrow we got the Los Angeles Kings. It's a 7:30 face-off. It's going to be on NBC Sports. Same way. Same way on Wednesday with Chicago with the Blackhawks at Chicago. That's going to be an interesting one with Chicago making a few roster moves, sending Bickle down. He's looked terrible.
And the Blues are going to be back to back that night too, so it's important for them to get on the board early.
And with Chicago playing tonight, they won't play 3 games in a row, so they'll be resting tomorrow, and then play on Wednesday. Then Saturday, of course, the Nashville Predators game at Nashville, and we'll give you all the details about the lounge outing here in just a little bit for that one. Then we go Tuesday at New Jersey, Thursday the 12th at New York, Chicago at home on the 14th, and then Winnipeg Jets at home on the 16th. Then we play we got some games in that area, 16th, 17th, 19th, and 21. We play the Jets, the Blue Jackets, the Sabres, and the Red Wings. And then that following Monday, play the Sabres, the Pittsburgh Penguins on the 25th, and the Blue Jackets on the 28th. And even though the Blue Jackets record's in the toilet, we see them twice this month. Don't ever count them out.
Oh, yeah, they've had
Because
our number in the past 2.
And with the coaching change and everything, it's going to take them a little bit to kind of get things all figured out. But don't underestimate them or expect easy points with those. It's going to be it could be a rough month, but the way that the team's been looking so far, I don't have a lot of complaints. A lot of surprises. Very many surprises with players, but. One name, and I need to look at how many games he's actually played is Upshaw. He was being used early on, but I don't think he's seen as much ice time as he was before. I mean, I can't knock the deal at all, but Gomez has just been head and shoulders over Upshaw.
He's had a lot of chemistry with Fabry on that third line as well.
Oh, sure, and he's got speed for Gomez being a little older. He came into camp fast, and he's not let up. But he knows every game could be his last up here.
Yeah,
Gomez has played 7 games so far with 3 points, with a +2, including the game-winning goal in the one game the other day. You've got. Looking at Upshaw, where I don't even see him. Upshaw, I take that back. Upshaw's played 7 games also. He's had 2 assists, and those were. I'm sorry, I take that back. 2 goals.
2 goals. Yeah.
So, and he may be rotating between them, but you've got Chris Butler's seen 1 game. Fabry's now seen 5. Stasny, of course, with being out, he's only played 5 games. But this team is very balanced. It's already used to doing, and honestly, I'd rather be dealing with these injuries and these issues now than January or on.
I agree.
Because if we can build all these points early, if we have a slippage a little bit later, we can deal with it. Then everybody flipping out with only 11 games played, that can have a team fall apart really easy. So we're looking. I can't say a whole lot bad about this team right now.
I certainly can't either. They're definitely playing better. They're playing much sound defensively, and they're not putting many pucks in the net. But with their defense and that's how strong and how healthy it's been, we only have one of our top players out. And we can sit and be comfortable with 2 or 3 goals a game and know that we can have the confidence in our D. And not only that, but our goaltenders. Our goaltenders are also playing a very great game, being very stabilized in the back and with our D-men jumping into play and being more reckless, creates more odd man rushes the other way, but they had the confidence to do that because of how great their goaltenders are playing as well. Because they know that Jake Allen or Brian Elliott is going to be there and shut the door.
And like you said, it's going both ways. Is the goalies feel confident in their D men and even their forwards, and all the guys in the ice are feeling the same way for both Allen and Elliott, which we're gelling. That's the big thing. Is there's no. I don't see a lot of weakness in this team at the moment. I mean, yeah, there's a few. When you watch the games, there's a few things we can tweak, but there's no one glaring problem that this team has at the moment. The problem that we may run into is once everybody gets back healthy, is who do you keep in the lineup and who do you sit?
I agree. And that one game that Butler did play, he played in the New York Islanders game. I was there, and I noticed this. He played on the third line as a forward. We had 7 D-men dressed for that game, and Upshaw was injured. And I'm still wondering to this day why not Upshaw was injured. Excuse me. He was scratched. He may have been because he was feeling sick. I don't remember, but how can you not dress Upshaw for Butler on a third line or fourth line?
Yeah, and that's something. I mean, you don't always know what's going on in the locker room or in Hitch's head, but could have been. I mean, a lot of things worse could have been done there. But I mean, I'm happy with things, and nobody should have many bitches about this team right now.
No, they really shouldn't. And it just makes me more excited for this month of November. And we could potentially get, we probably will, we're probably going to get Shattenkirk back. And it could be as early as, the November 7th game against Nashville, which is our lounge outing as night. It's going to be our first look as well as Barrett Jackman in Nashville jersey.
And see, I will say, I think there'll be a lot of applause when he, I don't know if he'll be a starter or not, but when he takes the ice or if he gets announced, I definitely think all the crowd will be behind him. There shouldn't be any. There's no ill will against him or anything, so I think he'll get a good ovation when he hits the ice.
That would be next month when he would come back to St. Louis. I don't remember the date. I know it's next month.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. So let's talk about this outing a little bit. If you guys have not heard or want to share with your friends, this Saturday, 7 o'clock, it's going to be at the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill in Maryland Heights. Give you the exact address is 3133 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Maryland Heights. It is going to be so much fun. We've got giveaways, including Johnny has some awesome tickets to an upcoming game, and they're not the cheap nosebleed seats. These are seats, club seats. These are badass. So we'll have give everybody tickets for chance to win door prizes when you get in. We'll have some lounge decals, some bracelets, different things like that. It is Thomas Brannicky, who's the owner of the bar. It's not officially open yet, so this is kind of a come check out the bar and stuff. So it sounds a little weird, but it's a BYOB and a bring your own food, snacks, whatever, because none of that stuff is ready to go yet, unfortunately. But we did not want to reschedule the outing and that just because of the way the games were falling. But we hope to absolutely pack that place Saturday night. We can show Thomas how much that we want to support his bar now and in the future. But get there. The game starts at 7 o'clock. If you want to get there just a little bit before, not too early, we'll be setting up our equipment. We're going to do at least maybe multiple podcasts out of it, but we're going to try and do an actual live podcast. So we'll have some microphones, maybe interview some of you guys. We'll have Thomas talk about the bar and his why he started it, things like that. But that's the kind of place that will definitely be fun to watch a game in. You can meet all of us, as exciting as that is, meeting me, Sean, and most everybody I'm assuming has met Johnny by this point. But meet all of us who put the podcast on, and if you want to critique us in person, tell us how much it sucks or whatever.
Producer David as well.
Yes, producer David's going to be the man behind the equipment and keep us running to the whole thing. But I guarantee it's going to be a lot of fun. Come out. wear your as much Blues gear. Maybe we'll even see if we can dig up a prize or something for most interestingly dressed Blues fan. I think I come up with a few things out of my collection, bring something down there, a little side prize or something. But it'll just be a great time, a good way to have the loungers just hang out and have a good time with each other.
Oh yeah, and that's two things I wanted to point out about the event. I know somebody said in the lounge they were thinking about ordering a pizza for everybody, or everybody chip in for a pizza. I don't know if that's still going on or not, but anyway, the second thing I want to talk about is we could possibly have another outing there in the future when the bar is open. That'd be a great thing for Thomas and bring him, raise money for his restaurant, and it'd be nicer to instead of BYOB, and bring your own food. It'd be great. We could probably do one in March or even earlier in February, whenever Thomas gets the bar open.
Yeah, and then once we get to the playoffs too, that could be the St. Louis playoff bar.
Oh yeah, for the away games too. That'd be pretty good. Or even like the regular season home game, not the regular season, the playoff home games. Excuse me. Either way, it'd be a pretty good place to check it out. I noticed he put Blackhawk logos in the urinals in the men's room. That's pretty cool. I saw that.
So
that's pretty awesome.
You can piss on the Blackhawks, just like so many of us want to do.
Yeah.
Again, it's the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill. It's 3133 North Lindbergh Boulevard. Come out. Game starts at 7. Get out there right around 7, a little bit before. Like I said, we'll be there broadcasting live. We're actually going to do a live podcast. We're getting all that stuff squared away. So it will be an absolute blast. We want to see as many people there, not just to see our lovely faces and to maybe get on the microphone, but to come watch Blues hockey and support a local bar with a local owner who's all about the Blues. And maybe with that, make sure we get pictures of everybody in there in their Blues gear and send it to the team. Let them know about this place and how much that we all want to support it.
Share them on Twitter, Sean, as well. Hashtag the Blues Lounge outing. That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, get out there, support him, support us. Let's have a fantastic outing. I'd like to see 200 people in that bar or more. I mean, that'd just be awesome to have so much fun. I know there's all kinds of some games to play. I believe there's even some bubble hockey in there.
He's got some really nice pool tables in there too, and he had a pinball table that had Bobby Orr in a Blackhawks jersey. He did spend at the end of his career. He spent 1 or 2 years with the Blackhawks. Now a lot of hockey fans know that, but that's probably the only cool Blackhawk thing in that bar. But it's Bobby Orr.
Oh yeah, and it's old school.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, please come out, support us, see that. It'll be a lot of fun. Any other last minute Blues stuff you want to cover, Sean?
Well, right now the Hawks did tie it up 2-2, so it's tied 2-2. But oh well, not really much else to say about the Blues. But you know what? They're looking good.
one of the big giveaways coming up that I know a lot of people are excited about too is the Monday, November 16th against the Jets camo jersey night.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
A lot of people are excited for those, and they're interesting looking. I'll be sure to I'm be interested to see what the quality of them is, though.
Me personally, I noticed when they showed them off where Berglund was modeling them, it doesn't look like they had the NHL script on the neck.
Probably not, because it's a
fan mid or not fan mid.
Just a team deal. They don't have to follow the same rules, and they may be getting them through somebody else. They're not not an official deal. The other thing to direct people to, and it's all going to the American Cancer Society. You can go to the Blues page, and to there's a link around the main page for the jersey auctions. They have the Hockey Fights Cancer jerseys. They the ones they wore in warm-ups. I love the colors on them. They look amazing. For it being for a charity, the prices aren't terrible. They end November the 5th, so you've got 2 more days to bid on those. Jake Allen's is at $410. Backus is at $450. There was one made for Brodeur at $450. Bowmeister's only $325. Some other ones in the 300 range. Gunnarsson for $300. Colton Parayko's is at $675. one for Bobby Plager, and these are all signed by the players, I believe, as well. Ty Ratty's got one. Of course, Tarasenko's being the most popular at $2,024 right now.
Yeah, just let me pull out. Let me go to the bank and get ask for a loan.
Yeah, you tell them what you're getting a loan for. I think they'd turn you down, but it all goes to a great cause. If you've got some extra money to spend, get out there and bid on one of those. I do love the look of them, and say there's a Brett Hull one in there too. It'd be neat to pick up either the Hull or the Brodeur or something like that. So check that out as well. It's been a fun podcast. We didn't want to go real long with this one because we're going to be live this coming Saturday from the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill.
We'll do it live.
We will do it live from there. For the Lounge Podcast, it is Doc Noyes and Sean Ditch saying we will see you Saturday, and let's go Blues.
Go Blues.
Watch me light the sky.